From the ashes of humble beginnings, rise the sense of regeneration, signaling the dawn of a new age. The foundations of the old and antiquated, now demolished, and in its place the newly built pillars of fearlessness and opportunity. Dreams are clearer, expectations are set higher, and the quest for championship gold is even stronger than it's ever been before. At one time or another, everything goes through a period of evolution. The world of wrestling is no different. Welcome to a new age. Welcome to a new era. Welcome to a new FWE.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the Fantasy Dome as we are counting 2 short weeks away from the Combat Evolved PLE. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Jack Mitchell, and Jack, as the PLE looms large, the matches just continue to get bigger.
That they do. This is going to be our last Women's Universal Championship match before Combat Evolved, so whoever wins tonight defends the belt at PLE.
And we will determine a brand new #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship here tonight. Nick Gunther, Joker, Levi McIntyre, Harry Potter, and Carson Gum in a fatal 5-way tables elimination match. You heard it right. What a combination of words. Going to be a heck of a match, but we're going to kick things off here tonight with familiar music. The former Women's Disney Tag Team Champions are inside of the Fantasy Dome. And you notice I said the word former. You do not see the tag team title belts around the waist of Ursula and Maleficent. Of course, we go back to this past episode of FWE Extra this past Saturday night. The unthinkable, maybe for many, as the Disney Queens, our 3-time tag team champions, defeated the Unholy Union in an Escape the Break match.
And that was kind of a shocking result to us, but it may not be so shocking to the Disney Queens. They're probably the only obstacle that the Unholy Union has yet to overcome. They've faced them twice. They're 0-2 so far.
We ended up seeing Maleficent kind of go the longest yard with Rapunzel, as both Ursula and Belle had escaped the cage rather quickly. Maleficent going to have to take on maybe arguably one of the strongest women on the women's roster. This is going to be a heck of a match between these two.
It really is.
Not only one of the strongest women on the roster, but the future #1 contender for the United States Championship. Can't believe I'm still saying those words. 1 week ago, Wonder Woman was able to run the family gauntlet. She defeated Double D, defeated Eddie, defeated Ed, and then would go on to defeat Matt McIntyre to earn the right to fight for a title on the men's side of the roster.
And Matt McIntyre directly did say, no man can beat me for the United States Championship. Well, now you have to deal with Wonder Woman, so we'll see how Matt responds to that matchup when we get to the PLE, but for now, some giants colliding on the women's side. A spear right out of the gate.
Massive spear by Wonder Woman. Certainly one would have to wonder, where Maleficent is physically. You saw her busted open at the end of that matchup. As mentioned, went the longest of her tag team in that matchup with Rapunzel inside of that steel cage. So one would certainly have to think not at 100%, but while we also consider the fact that maybe not 100% physically, definitely I think mentally is into this, because we talked about back when the Disney Queens gave the Unholy Union their first loss, it lit a fire under them. Now that they've lost the tag team title belts inside of a matchup that clearly they felt they were the favorites going into, might want to be careful if you're any future opponents for either Ursula or Maleficent.
Well, you talk about the not being at 100% thing. I think that same thing applies to Wonder Woman as well, because just last week is when she was involved in that gauntlet match against the family to earn that #1 contender spot. It's not easy to try to pin 4 people in a row. She succeeded in doing so, but it had to have taken a lot out of her.
Action right out here in front of us, and I tell you, I don't think it would make any difference if we were standing up, but just sitting down here, you realize the magnitude, the height of these two women.
Yeah, these two definitely towering over a lot of people here on their FWE roster. This is just a normal matchup, so countouts and DQs will apply. The referee's already hit a 5 count, and Maleficent gonna drop to the floor.
Boy, you could hear the ground shake from underneath us there as the frame of Maleficent met the floor below. Nice enziguri there by Maleficent, takes Wonder Woman down, and now as the referee nears 10, looks like both will get inside of the ring. And I think right here, this matchup, it's all about making a statement. For Wonder Woman, obviously made a big statement with running that gauntlet, but wants to further her resume here, maybe build a little bit more trepidation in the heart of Matt McIntyre as he'll look to defend the title at Combat Evolved. For Maleficent, maybe trying to show, hey, we may have lost the tag team titles, but the Unholy Union is still going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the women's tag team division.
Submission locked in. Wonder Woman had the grip on the neck, but Maleficent will fight her way out of it, although I don't know if she's maybe trying to goad her in right now. Seems to have backed her into a quarter.
Oh, man, look at this. Oh, the height to hit the choke slam. Cover in by Wonder Woman to put Maleficent away, and only going to get a 1 count.
That was impressive, though. I mean, the height difference between these two is not very big, but I think Maleficent is just a little bit taller than Wonder Woman, and she was still able to hit that powerful choke slam.
We talk about the conditioning here of Maleficent. One certainly has to wonder what type of condition Rapunzel is in. We saw her physically beaten and battered after that matchup, but still was able to have her feet hit the floor to give the Disney Queens their 3rd reign atop the women's tag team division. We, of course, know the Disney Queens have that ongoing feud with Disney Strong Style. They seem to be kind of have their hand in multiple cookie jars here in FWE.
Yeah, it feels like that feud, at some point they're going to have to come to a way to resolve that, as we've had people debuting in FWE as well that have forced their hand in there. As you saw, submission was attempted to be locked in there by Maleficent, but the referee called for the rope break.
Kick to the gut. I wondered if, just a straight up jackknife powerbomb there by Maleficent. Floats into the cover, forearm in the face, and a kick out at 1 by Wonder Woman. Obviously with Maleficent, you got to be aware. Well, tried to use the ropes. I think referee Ernest Wright vigilant in that. Oh, gracious. Big boot there, takes Wonder Woman down. All of a sudden, Maleficent is in control of this matchup.
And with that suspicious attempt at going for that pin, it did not really deter her momentum. Oh, go behind, though, by Wonder Woman.
And another spear.
Oh, man, the strength on display. How often do you see Maleficent get lifted around like this?
Never. Never. This is a first. Also maybe a first. I'm trying to remember back to that gauntlet match last week. I don't remember ever seeing Wonder Woman using the spear in her moveset. Maybe needs be here in this matchup with a taller opponent like Maleficent.
Very well could be the case. I mean, it's a quick way to take somebody off of their vertical base, and in a matchup like this where height can be everything, be very effective.
All of a sudden, the tides have turned once again. Maleficent in control of Wonder Woman. I'll have to say, we did see Maleficent try to cut an edge there by putting her feet on the ropes. I'm really surprised we haven't seen any involvement yet out of the other half of the Unholy Union. Ursula still lurking out there at ringside.
Yeah, you never know. You feel like Ursula would be the kind of person to maybe take a turnbuckle pad off the top rope or bring in a weapon of some sort. Maybe distract the referee.
Looks like Diana might have been busted open there after that head bounced off the top turnbuckle. As a nice neck breaker there by Maleficent. Wonder Woman does have that crown she wears there, and I wonder if maybe that might have dug into her forehead after she bounced off that top turnbuckle. As hold on! We've seen this before multiple times last week. Lasso of Truth. Is that enough to put Maleficent away?
Cover is in. Oh, nearly had it. I think that was a 2.9 kick out by Maleficent.
Just barely got that right shoulder up off the canvas. Not much in that kick out though, so Wonder Woman may feel the end could be nearing.
This little combination of moves here.
Yeah, wrist lock into a trio of clotheslines.
Again, calling for Maleficent to get to her feet.
Oh boy, here it is. Amazon Slam, maybe the biggest one she's hit in her career. This time on Maleficent, and Wonder Woman is going to pick up a decisive victory just a few short weeks away from her title opportunity at Combat Evolved.
That is a massive win for Wonder Woman, both figuratively and literally, but at the same time, you have to wonder as well, the members of the Unholy Union probably not too happy at all right now. It feels like they cannot find any momentum all of a sudden after losing their titles.
It may make them more of a terror in the women's tag team division for sure. Speaking of tag team, the men's tag team championships will be defended at Combat Evolved. Kyle Matthews of the Thrill Seekers takes on the Family's Eddie in one-on-one action, and that's next.
Making his way to the ring, representing the Family from the internet, weighing in at 156 pounds, one half of the men's tag team champions,
Well, the balalaika of the Family's theme song might be a sound we'll have to get used to. We're going to hear it multiple times at the Combat Evolved PLE. Of course, the men's Disney Tag Team Championships will be defended. Michael Norman will be fighting for the Tri-Wizard Championship. Matt McIntyre defending the United States Championship. We're actually going to see Michael and Matt teaming up here tonight later on this evening. But this one here, this one-on-one matchup, we talked about this last week when we saw Dylan Young taking on Ed, and Ed ended up picking up a pinfall victory. It seems like no matter what tag team steps up to the Family, whether it's in tag team or in one-on-one action, nobody has been able to find an answer.
That is absolutely the case, and I'll talk about this in just a moment here because I think we're going to have another introduction. I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again here. It feels like even more the case this week. This is a must-win for the Thrill Seekers here because nobody has been able to find any kind of momentum whatsoever against the Family. You go back to the feud that the Eds had against the outsiders, Aladdin and Flynn Whiter. They could not get any kind of momentum in their favor whatsoever before the tag team match at Bash of Tatooine. They did not beat the family in that tag team title match.
I've got a staggering number for you. We've obviously documented about Dylan Young, former 3-time Tri-Wizard champion. Do you know the last time that Kyle Matthews fought for a title here in FWE as a #1 contender, singles or otherwise?
I couldn't tell you.
Go back to December of last year at Fallout when he fought Carson Gum for the belt sitting right here at our announce table, that Wayfinder Cruiser Championship.
Quite a while ago, and I mean, I can speak to the whole long wait thing. It took me a long time just to enact my rematch clause as the cover's in here by Kyle. I think I won.
Of course, if you're Kyle, you gotta be fully aware of that jawbreaker finisher that all three of the Eds have in their repertoire, and it has been so devastating, allowed them to keep these championship belts ever since winning them from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And very often when we see one jawbreaker, if that doesn't do the job, we usually see two. Hopefully that these two have learned the game plan a little bit going into this matchup here.
Mission locked in their wrist lock, and now a double knees to the lower back by Kyle Matthews. And I remember you talking about this back in the Dylan versus Ed matchup, that kind of maybe was part of the reason why Dylan ended up suffering the loss. Was one thing that we've learned with the Eds is you cannot leave them any open space. You've got to keep the pressure, keep the offense on them continually, which Kyle is doing here with another early cover.
Absolutely. He's definitely not letting his foot off the gas. He's had 2 covers, 2 kickouts at 1, but he's still applying the pressure and trying to dish out as much quick offense as he can.
As we mentioned, it is official. The Thrill Seekers will take on Ed and Eddie of the family in 2 weeks' time at the Combat Evolved PLE for those Men's Disney Tag Team Championships, belts that currently the family have had in their possession for now 57 days.
Talk about the resurgence that this faction has had. You know, it felt like maybe they were able to defeat their former members in Anthony McCreary and Cole Eastwood, who are now known as the Rockers. But even though they had that win, it felt like they hadn't really had any momentum going in their favor because they were only down to 2 members. But instead, you just see the power. Our referee's at a count of 8.
Almost in danger of a count-out victory or even a double count-out here, which I'm not exactly certain that would give either team a heck of a lot of momentum going into the Combat Evolved PLE, but both back in, and Kyle met with a back elbow.
I feel like if you're the family, you just take that as a win. You didn't get pinned.
Yeah, it's not a win, it's not a loss.
Maybe the same thing for Kyle, too. Able to work his way out of that submission attempt by Eddie.
I don't know exactly when it happened, but it looks like Eddie got busted open there around his left eye, just in front of the ear. Might have happened on the outside here in front of us. I didn't actually notice when it occurred. Doesn't seem to be phasing him, though, as an Alabama slam.
Now Eddie's finding the momentum. This is the danger spot here if you're Kyle. Now you're leaving your window of opportunity open for Eddie, and if Eddie's able to connect on a jawbreaker after this sequence, Kyle might be in trouble.
Sit down power bomb. I mean, you know, we mentioned about the different facets that Ed and Eddie bring to the family, as that might be right into what I was going to talk about. Eddie is considered kind of the loose cannon, the unpredictable one of the trio, and you saw it right there with that splash from the top rope to the outside.
Kyle able to get a reversal, though, and he's the one that brings Eddie back into the ring.
Kick to the lower gut. Gonna bring Eddie up and down with a backstabber.
And a springboard moonsault off the top rope. This is great from Kyle.
Eddie crawls to the corner. Kyle with the run-in double knees to the lower back once again. He's kind of been targeting that lower back ever since the bell rang.
He's keeping the pressure on.
Now working on the lower extremities, trying to tighten up the hamstring, and Kyle gonna go up top.
Oh, coup de grace.
Targets that midsection once again, this time the front side of the midsection, hooks the leg, and almost picked up a 3.
Kyle Kyle has to not let that one frustrate him. Keep up the offense. He's calling for Eddie to get to his feet. If he hits a big move here, this could be it.
Uses the rope for leverage. Big kick takes Eddie down.
While running clotheslines.
Sweeps the leg. Eddie down again. Kyle fully in control. Again, as you said, almost a must-win situation here if the Thrill Seekers are going to build any kind of momentum going into the PLE. We ended up seeing what happened when the Black Pearl crew went 0-2 in singles competition. It was almost as if they didn't show up to their title match.
So far, Dylan Young did not have a victory, and he fought against Ed. Big knee there from Kyle. I mean, Kyle's in full control right now, and I feel like the other members of the family, you see Double D, he jumped up on the ring apron. Maybe he's thinking about trying to do something. Kyle went for a Superman punch.
And that miss on the Superman punch could be costly as a double arm hook suplex by Eddie.
Kyle, though, smartly goes to the outside of the ring, so Eddie can't capitalize on that with a cover. What is he thinking here?
Oh!
Jeez.
Again, targeting that lower back straight into the barricade. Oh! Jawbreaker! But it's on the outside!
It was on the outside of the ring, so Eddie can't go into a pin. Can Kyle recover quickly enough?
You mentioned where we see one jawbreaker, we normally see two. Could this set Eddie up for a double dose?
Kyle stuck in the corner. Oh, a reversal.
Back elbow out of the corner. Oh, he's got Eddie up. Reverse GTS. Is that enough to pick up a decisive victory going into Combat Evolved? It is.
That is a huge win for Kyle Matthews.
Here is your winner,
Got hit with the jawbreaker and shook it off.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that is the first loss that any members of the Ed and Eddie team, the trio, have suffered since joining the family.
I would have to go way back in the research notes to find that information out for you, but man, that is insane. I mean, that gives these guys all the momentum going into the tag team title match coming up at the PLE.
Tremendous victory for Kyle Matthews and the Thrill Seekers. Will that help them in 2 weeks? We'll have to find out. Up next is the Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Champion Black Widow in action against Zoe.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Moscow, Russia, the Women's Cruiserweight Champion, the Spider Black.
Black Widow, only the second woman to have the Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship in her possession since its inception here in FWE. Right now, seemingly one of the few champions that doesn't exactly have a match scheduled for the upcoming Combat Evolved PLE, but big opportunity here tonight for Zoe of the K-Pop Demon Hunters. Might be able to put herself firmly in the title picture if she can pick up a victory over the champ.
Tends to be how it works, doesn't it? You get a pinfall over the champion,
Presenting Damage Control.
yourself in a #1 contender status, perhaps.
Well, we ended up seeing, I believe it was last week's episode of Extra, might have been 2 weeks ago, the emergence of K-Pop Demon Hunters here in the Fantasy Dome. Mira, Rumi, and Zoe. We saw Mira and Rumi take on the Unholy Union in a losing effort, but while we consider Zoe here tonight with an opportunity to get back into the Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship picture, also consider this. This past Saturday night, we ended up seeing Susan Storm, the very first individual to hold that cruiserweight title, picked up a decisive victory over Shuri, and it kind of seems like, even though she lost her title rematch, it seems like Susan Storm still has some thoughts about getting that title back.
Certainly have to imagine that that is in the back of her mind as we get this matchup started. I want to really quickly go and give you a stat verification, because what we were talking about before the commercial break, I took a look and what you said was indeed right. That was the first pinfall loss that anyone in the family has suffered since the Edge joined the faction.
Wow. So major victory for Kyle Matthews in more ways than one. The first blemish, if you will, on the resume of Ed and Eddie since they joined the ranks of the family. As a little test of strength here, Zoe gonna push Black Widow back against the ropes. An interesting matchup here for Black Widow in the fact that, yes, obviously we knew coming into tonight that the K-Pop Demon Hunters were on the roster, but this is the in-ring debut of Zoe, so technically Black Widow is going into this one-on-one matchup completely blind.
Yeah, I mean, Zoe hasn't had a match yet before, and she's going to go right into the cover here. Kick out at 1.
Of course, we know Black Widow's tag team partner, Shuri, is going to be fighting for the Women's Universal Championship at Combat Evolved. Tonight we'll be determining who her opponent is going to be as Moana defends Women's Universal Championship against the former champion Poison Ivy, the woman that she cashed in the Power-Up briefcase on at the Open Fight Night episode. And this matchup tonight, our main event, will determine who the opponent's going to be. There will be no more defending the title prior to Combat Evolved.
And you know Moana's going to be trying to fight as hard as she possibly can, because she just used that Power-Up briefcase to win the championship. There's no way she wants that to go to waste, as it covers here after a roll-up and a kick out at 1.
Oh, big knee right there. Thought it was to the upper back, but saw Zoe holding the lower back, so obviously that must have been where the impact was. Big kick there. We talk about Black Widow, and kind of similar to Mulan, has that kind of martial arts background, of course trained in the Red Room in Moscow.
Oh, big kick to the head. Drops Zoe.
You find it interesting that, you know, no Shuri out here at ringside, no Rumi or Mira on the other side of the ring?
I kind of feel like this is how it should be for the most part. You know, singles, if you're going to have a singles match, show up by yourself. You don't necessarily need to have somebody there. The extra motivation could help, but maybe not.
Well, folks, we hope that you join us on Thursday, July 2nd. I got scolded last episode. I said it was Saturday, July 2nd. We would have people showing up and nothing to show. But at 7 p.m., we're going to have our PLA at Combat Evolved. And how about this? 1 hour early, 6 o'clock, we're going to have ourselves a pre-show for the PLE. Matches involve some major announcements as well.
Definitely tune in. These are going to be major announcements at that pre-show that will determine the future of FWE. And as you just said, some matches as well in the pre-show, so don't miss out on that. Tune in an hour early.
Action now to the outside here. Again, this is not a title match, so there's no champion's advantage. It's straight up one-on-one, so we could have the possibility of a double count out here if the referee ends up reaching a count of 10. It looks like we will not get to that point here as Black Widow deposits Zoe back inside of the ring. Gonna shoot the half, go into the cover to pick up a victory here. And Zoe with a kick out at 1. Lot still in the tank, it looks like, on that kick out.
Black Widow probably thought she did enough damage ringside. So they got now setting her up for another move. Big elbow to the face. He hasn't really been able to get any momentum in her favor right now. And Black Widow's got her up on the top turnbuckle. This can be bad.
We've seen this before. The Widow's bite. Hit that, I think it was 3 or 4 times on Susan Storm in their ladder match. Cover is in. Oh, and I thought that was going to be it.
Felt like that should have been it. Zoe had enough wherewithal left to kick out at 2, and we stay fighting.
Oh, and now setting her up. The Widow's Web submission is locked in. Is Zoe going to tap out? That
She's
right
not
hand.
anywhere near the ropes.
Yeah, the right hand could have maybe touched the ropes, but that was the hand that was locked.
A diving attack for good measure for Black Widow. She hits another big move. This could be it.
Zoe down and out. Whoa. Able to roll to the outside,
Ooh.
and Black Widow missed the kick.
Like Black Widow was caught off guard. I think one of her feet might have hit the ring apron on the way down there.
Maybe the shin for sure. Zoe all of a sudden in control. Tried to drive Black Widow into the steel steps. Black Widow was able to put the brakes on. Oh, nice backbreaker there by Zoe, and all of a sudden Zoe is in control of this matchup, and that's after getting hit by the Widow's Bite as well as being locked in the Widow's Web.
The fact that Zoe was able to work her way out of that, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Like you said earlier, this is her first matchup. She was ringside when the rest of her faction made their debut, but she wasn't involved in the matchup. This time, it's just her by herself.
Going up top is Zoe. What is she thinking here? Oh!
Maybe a diving elbow attack of some sort. Didn't connect, though. Still in control, though.
Electric chair into
Oh,
a...
into the
It was
pin.
actually a suplex into a pin! Wow!
That move by itself dished out a ton of damage because, yes, it didn't win the match, but now your back is under all that pressure if you're Black Widow. Arm getting wrenched on there as well. Oh. Reversal there.
Dragon screw by Black Widow. And all it took was that one move. Now just laying in boots to the upper back. The forehead of Zoe bouncing off the mat. This matchup has turned multiple times in favor of one, then the other.
Zoe was just on the receiving end of a few finishing maneuvers from Black Widow. It didn't put her away, but you have to wonder, was that her last gasp after that offense? Oh, she gets a reversal in here, though.
Multiple elbows to the midsection. Now Irish whips Black Widow off the ropes. Go behind, swinging neck breaker connects. Oh, but look at that!
Oh, man.
Did not affect Black Widow at all. Big boot. Zoe is down. Cover in. Oh, it almost got the 3.
Gotten to the point where the emotions are flowing in this matchup. Black Widow fired up after that move. Hit a huge boot. Still could not put Zoe away.
A win, lose, or draw. Zoe with a great showing here tonight. Black Widow certainly realizing that she's in for a fight this evening. May take something really big to put Zoe away. Oh, and it may be just this. Widow's Bite set up once again. Second time she hits it.
That's gotta be it. There's no way Zoe's getting up.
Cover is in by Black Widow. And she'll pick up the victory against Zoe. But what a showing here tonight by 1/3 of the K-Pop Demon Hunters. Black Widow's momentum. Whoa!
Oh.
Remember back, folks, when Harley Quinn ended up winning that Call Your Shot gauntlet match. It looks like she set her sights on the mid-card title she wants to fight for at Combat Evolved.
You were saying before this matchup that Black Widow didn't have a match on the card yet at Combat Evolved. That might have just changed.
Very well might have. Harley Quinn, a former hardcore champion, has never held the Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship. We're going to have to wait and see if this match indeed is going to be official in 2 weeks' time. But up next, the family is in action. Matt McIntyre and Michael Norman join forces against Shaggy Rogers and the Intercontinental Champion, Carlos Zimmerman.
of 493 pounds, the United States Champion, Matt McIntyre and Michael Norton, the family.
Well, it's going to be a full family affair at Combat Evolved. Matt McIntyre will be defending the United States Championship. Michael Norman will be fighting for the Tri-Wizard Championship. Coming into tonight, Matt McIntyre has had that belt around his waist for 311 days. When we get to the PLE, we will have hit the 325-day mark.
That's incredible that we're even talking about any title reign being that long, but Matt McIntyre certainly has never faced a challenger like Wonder Woman before, so he'll be in for the fight of his life. Cannot wait to get there at Combat Evolved in LA. Everybody in this matchup is going to be there too.
And their opponents, first representing the corporation from the 70s, weighing in at 185 pounds, Zack Rogers.
Well, Shaggy Rogers of Mystery Incorporated, he'll be, as you said, at that PLE at Combat Evolved, looking for the opportunity to be a two-time Tri-Wizard champion. And I gotta wonder about the mentality of Shaggy Rogers here the last week or so heading towards Combat Evolved. More than likely, after winning the Guardians of the Ring tournament, was fully prepared to take RJ Bishop or, at the time, the Shadow Lord Nick Gunther, depending on who ended up winning that matchup, take them on for the Tri-Wizard Championship. But now with the recent suspension of RJ Bishop and Michael Norman winning that Battle Royal, now he has to shift gears and prepare for the leader of the family.
And he does, and that could be a massive adjustment. This can be a huge matchup for Shaggy as well, because to my knowledge, he hasn't really had any matchups since he won that Guardians of the Ring tournament. And while on one hand that keeps you as healthy as possible, you know, you have the rest versus rust debate in baseball all the time, you can have that debate here as well. Shaggy needs to shake some of that rust off before going into that matchup.
And when he won the Tri-Wizard Championship, he didn't hold it for very long, held, I believe, a week and a half before losing it back to then champion Dylan Young.
And from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 163 pounds, the Intercontinental Champion, Carlos Z.
We saw Carlos Zimmerman win this Intercontinental Championship from Dylan Poteet back at Bash at Tatooine, and then would go on to successfully defend it against Poteet in Poteet's title rematch. 21 days he's had that belt here, his first title in FWE, but he's going to have his focus on a couple of things here tonight. First off, this matchup here against the family, tagging with Shaggy Rogers, but then later on this evening, he's going to be finding out who his next defendee is going to be, as we're going to be seeing who the winner of that Fatal 5-Way Tables Eliminator match is going to be.
Carlos might want to stick around ringside after this matchup is over and see who that his number one contender is going to be, as there's a big shot from Shaggy to Michael to start this matchup.
Yeah, kind of fitting that we have these two, maybe a little precursor of what we will see at Combat Evolved. These two going to be going one-on-one for the vacant Tri-Wizard Championship as Shaggy takes to the skies and hits Michael with a crossbody.
You'd have to think that that this half of each team that's in the ring right now, that it's probably not even about the win or the loss. It's about dishing out as much punishment as you can, wearing down your opponent before you get to the title match.
The only thing that I would say right now that I would give an advantage to would be to the family, because Michael Norman, Matt McIntyre, they've teamed before. Shaggy Rogers and Carlos Zimmerman, to my recent knowledge, they've never tagged together, so there's probably going to be a lack of chemistry there.
It's a great point. I mean, obviously, you know, I talk about that implication for the singles match, but at the end of the day, right here, right now, you got to tag with your partner, and obviously, Michael and Matt have much more experience in doing that.
Well, we've just gotten word, we saw moments ago, Harley Quinn seemingly staking her claim to fight for the Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship at Combat Evolved. It has been made official. Black Widow Harley Quinn Cruiserweight title at the upcoming PLE in 2 weeks.
There you go. Down there by Shaggy, wrenching on the legs. I'll go for the tag. Carlos is legal.
It's interesting when you brought up the lack of ring time we've really seen for Shaggy Rogers recently. That can be, as you mentioned, a curse in terms of trying to knock off some ring rust, but it also could be a bit of a blessing because maybe then Michael doesn't exactly know what to expect. We've used the word evolve ever since we've entered into this new era of FWE. We've seen new moves added to people's movesets, new attitudes as well. Shaggy Rogers could be a complete enigma for Michael Norman, a complete shell of his former self in this new era.
Oh, Carlos suckered in Michael.
Michael comes up empty as he was going for a shoulder tackle from the top rope, met nothing but floor.
You brought up a great point about Shaggy and the whole rest versus rust debate, but at the same time, it's also, I think, a matter of maybe wanting to try and stay as healthy as you can. You don't want to risk suffering an injury, and especially in a matchup like this, where you have a title match coming up at Combat Evolved.
It's an excellent point as well. And to that end, kind of interesting. Now, granted, Carlos and Michael, hold on.
They got to get in the ring.
At a count of 9.
The late count there from Ernest
yeah,
Wright.
I think referee Ernest Wright being very generous right there to not have this end on either a count or a double count out, as now Carlos with a Falcon Arrow on Michael, who kicks out.
Michael has not tagged Matt in yet. I think that's what he's going for right now.
That's what I was just going to bring up. I think that it's due in part to the fact that Carlos and Shaggy did a good job of cutting off the ring, but we hadn't yet seen an appearance by the United States Champion, which I found kind of interesting.
That went for a running high knee. It didn't connect, but now laying in some offense on Carlos. You have to wonder what Matt's mentality is, too. Maybe he's still potentially taken aback a little bit by the fact that Wonder Woman actually completed the gauntlet.
Not only that, add in the decisive victory she had here tonight over Maleficent in one-on-one action.
Oh, Carlos is fired up.
Woo! We know that both Matt McIntyre and Carlos Zimmerman are going to be defending their respective mid-card titles. Matt already knows his opponent, Scooby-Doozer! From out of nowhere, the Scooby-Doozer cutter! That's how Shaggy won the Guardians of the Ring tournament, when he hit that on Flynn Rider.
You going for another one?
Oh, he is! This time from the top rope in the corner. Cover is in, and Michael Norman knew that was going to be it and breaks it up.
Did not even bother waiting for a 1 count. As soon as the shoulders were down, he was on his way into the ring.
See how quick Shaggy hit that move, though. You know that's going to be in the back of Michael Norman's mind.
Absolutely. You want to do your research there, Michael. There you go. Oh, man. Shaggy not slowing down.
Flying forearm by Shaggy Rogers, and now he'll tag in the Intercontinental Champion, Carlos Zimmerman. Whoa, went for a high knee. Michael able to get out of harm's way, and now meets Carlos with a German suplex.
Lariat turns him inside out. Michael Norman's not done, setting Carlos up for something big.
Oh, he's got him hooked, going for that package. Pile driver, debt is paid. Cover in on Carlos, and Shaggy makes the save.
Shaggy also felt like that was going to be the end of the match, and he wasted no time either.
You know, we talked about in that matchup between Kyle and Dylan, we mentioned the word momentum. How much momentum can be gained or lost here by representatives of each of these respective duos if you end up going into Combat Evolved with a W or an L here tonight?
Well, I think in the case of Michael Norman and Shaggy Rogers in that particular matchup, if you're the one who gets pinned in this matchup, you're probably feeling even more devastation and loss of momentum going into that matchup because you know that that's a direct matchup. In the case of Carlos and Matt, it would be a little frustrating for sure, but you're not facing against this man at the PLE, so you're gonna have a different opponent. In Carlos's case too, he's going to know who his opponent is. Matt already knows who his opponent is as well. And we're 2 weeks away from Combat Evolved. If you're Matt, or if you're Michael, and you get pinned by Shaggy, or if you're Shaggy and you get pinned by Michael, you have that knowledge that just 2 weeks before your big title match, you got pinned by your opponent.
And you have to wonder if that might be a respective goal of both Michael Norman and Shaggy Rogers here, who right now are the two legal participants, to pick up that victory over your future opponent going into the Combat Evolved PLE, kind of lord that over them for the next 2 weeks, get in their head, make them think that they don't have a chance of walking out of that PLE with the Triwizard Championship over their shoulder.
I can speak from recent experience. It felt really good when I was able to pin Carson Gum right before I took the Cruiserweight title off of him.
Big shots to the midsection by Michael Norman.
It's like that I've done it once, I can easily do it again type of feeling.
Running power slam there by the leader of the family. It's interesting, mention about the fact for Shaggy Rogers, he's looking for his second opportunity to claim the Triwizard Championship. For Michael Norman, he'll be going into his second opportunity to fight for the title. The first time, Royal Brawl against Dylan Young.
Shaggy into the cover.
Is this going to be enough to put Michael away, and only going to get a 1 count there is Shaggy. Whoa, went for that shot to the midsection. Oh my goodness!
Into a powerbomb.
Just lifted him up from dead weight. Powerbomb to the spine, and Michael Norman turns the momentum around on Shaggy Rogers. Now has him up. Might be looking for a power slam right in the middle of the ring.
Sends the message and then goes right for the tag. Now fresh Matt McIntyre enters the ring. He's been resting on the ring apron for quite some time here and already has him up on the shoulders.
White noise connects for Matt McIntyre. Cover is in, and again, we've ended up seeing the respective partners on both sides in there, Johnny on the spot to make the saves when they feel the matchup is nearing its conclusion.
And Michael being brought back immediately into the ring. I don't know if that was necessarily the smartest tag. You know, I'm not going to question the chemistry of the family, but at the same time, Michael isn't as fresh as Matt was when he'd been tagged back in.
But again, too, Shaggy was down, so maybe Michael feels this is the opportunity that he might be able to put Shaggy Rogers away. We know that when it comes to the family, they are all about power. And that is a powerful dominator hit on Shaggy Rogers in the middle of the ring. Cover is in, and Michael's going to pick up the victory. He pinned his future opponent at Combat Evolved.
Statement made. That just makes me think even more that that questionable tag that brought Michael in was maybe a call by him himself, wanting the glory, wanting the pin. I would not put that past him at all. You know, Michael's the guy who likes to make statements, and he just made a big one right there, pinning his future opponent.
We are about moments away from determining a new #1 contender for the Men's Intercontinental Championship. It's a fatal 5-way tables match. We'll tell you more right after this commercial break. Well, you see Nick Gunther, the now unmasked Shadow Lord, making his way down to the ring alongside of Hades, who we've seen when he had the Shadow Lord persona aligned himself with. Looks like that alliance still remains intact. Jack, we go back to Bash at Tatooine. We saw the unmasking, RJ Bishop defeating the Shadow Lord. Nick Gunther, the man behind the mask that had been torturing RJ Bishop for months.
Well, Seth, you said he got rid of the mask. He certainly did not lose the persona. He's
No.
still very much the Shadow Lord, and he is. And the fact that he still has Hades in his corner is a massive deal, especially when you're talking about a matchup like this.
Harry Potter, former Wayfinder Cruiser champion, now looking to make his mark, no pun intended, on the Intercontinental Championship scene. We saw the Intercontinental champ Carlos Zimmerman in action just moments ago, a losing effort with Shaggy Rogers in tag team action. As we said, he's certainly going to be backstage keeping an eye on this matchup because it's going to determine who he will defend that Intercontinental Championship against in 2 weeks at the Combat Evolved PLE. But what about the stipulation for this matchup? Fatal 5-way tables elimination match. Pretty much, you put your opponent through a table, they're eliminated, last man standing wins. Another first here in the Fantasy Dome.
So we're going to see 4 tables broken at the very least.
Pretty
So
much.
There's probably a whole lot more of them underneath the ring. We've got 2 on each side, or 1 on each side of the ring right now, so that's 2 total, but I'm sure that they're going to find way more than that.
See referee Ernest Wright standing out at ringside. We won't be seeing him in the ring for this matchup. All he's going to need to do is call the bell if somebody gets put through a table. I'm also just going to throw it out there. You might want to take your belt off of our announce table because that's considered a table as well. So it's not safe.
This counts?
Yeah.
Okay, we might want to keep these chairs mobile.
Accompanied by Harvey Quinn, representing the inmates from Nutley, New Jersey, weighing in at 195 pounds, Joe Turner.
Well, it's not the first time we've seen Harley Quinn make her way out to ringside tonight. We saw her earlier on this evening challenge Black Widow for the Cozy Chrome Cruiserweight Championship by virtue of winning that Call Your Shot gauntlet match a couple of weeks ago. Coming out alongside of Joker, who up to this point still is looking for his first title here in FWE. That includes singles and tag team division.
The Gotham Inmates, one of the few tag teams that hasn't really been in contention. Of course, I'm talking about himself and Penguin that haven't really been in contention as of late for the men's tag team titles.
Just kind of thinking ahead of time, might not be the last time we see Harley Quinn again tonight as well. Her tag team partner, Poison Ivy's got a Universal title match here this evening as well. Another individual that has formerly held that Wayfinder Cruiser Championship. Of course, you know him very well in your recent battles with Carson. Now trying to get himself up a little bit higher on the mid-card, fight for the Intercontinental Championship. And kind of an interesting one here. If Carson Gum is able to go on and win, it would be a couple of Texas boys fighting it out at Combat Evolved for the IC title.
And it would, so maybe some state pride on the line a little bit if you think about it, but Carson's going to certainly do what he can in this matchup. And when he has his matches, we talk a lot about the deceptive strength that he has. You know, he doesn't necessarily look like the largest man on the roster, but when he gets in the ring, he can certainly wrestle like one of them.
Oh, another individual that you've recently been in the ring with, Levi McIntyre. We ended up seeing both you and him, along with Carlos Zimmerman, in that #1 contendership triple threat match. Carlos would go on to win that and eventually go on to win the title. Levi now with another opportunity to try and be the #1 contender for the IC title in this upcoming matchup.
And I feel like Levi McIntyre, there might be a little bit of desperation behind it. I mean, I'm certainly not going to take away his in-ring ability. Certainly one of the better wrestlers that we have on this roster, but at the same time, hasn't really been in contention for any major singles titles before in FWE. This would be a golden opportunity for him to get some championship gold around his waist for the first time. As the bell gonna ring without any hesitation. There goes Levi.
Wow. Takes Nick Gunther down with a Uranagi slam, and of course, as we mentioned, there are no pinfalls, no submissions in this matchup. The only way to eliminate someone is to put them through a table. And we will have 4 eliminations here. Last man standing will be the new #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. And that belt will be defended at the upcoming PLE Combat Evolved. To my general knowledge, I don't believe that any of these 5 individuals have ever been involved in just a straight-up tables match, so I'm not sure that there's an advantage to either any one of these 5.
Definitely not, and of course, with tables being involved, there's no DQ either, and that also means painful landings. You already see multiple people have landed on the underside of that table, that steel framing and the wood. There's no give whatsoever. It can be really painful.
And with no disqualification, that kind of begs no surprise to see both Hades and Harley Quinn standing outside of the ring. We could end up seeing their involvement, which would be perfectly legal in this matchup to help their respective partners.
I just heard a "We want tables" chant from the crowd. Yeah, you guys are gonna get tables, all right?
I think they're gonna get their wish. One already set up here. Oh!
Oh, it didn't put him
It didn't
through.
break! So that does not count as an elimination. Carson went to slam Nick through the table. It did not break, so Nick actually dodges a bullet there.
We're gonna have dueling tables here in a moment. Oh, Harry Potter, I mean, if you're Nick, you've basically been given a lifeline. That honestly should have put him through the table. It didn't work at all.
Now Nick Gunther with Harry Potter looking to put him through the table, and he will do so. Table breaks, elimination takes place. A very quick showing by Harry Potter.
And there's got to be some frustration, too, especially if you're Harry Potter, because you know that Nick probably, in all seriousness, should be out of this match.
Yeah.
Again, not trying to take too much away from him, but he should have. I don't know why that table didn't break.
I'm sure Carson Gum is thinking the exact same thing as he was looking to eliminate the former Shadow Lord. Now, we talk about these tables, they are the mode of elimination, but we've also been seeing them used as weaponry here also. Multifaceted are these pieces of furniture as Nick Gunther driven shoulder first into that steel post.
Carson Gum down for a moment as well, and I think there's some interruptions as well, because sometimes these tables slip and they'll get knocked down while people are trying to land moves, and ultimately they don't connect. They have to change their plans.
With Harry Potter eliminated as well as hold that thought, Carson in a bad spot, and Joker may have just saved Carson with a backstabber to Levi.
Hades taking a turnbuckle pad off.
Again, we remind you all in 2 weeks' time, Thursday, July 2nd, join us for the upcoming PLE Combat Evolved. Start time 7 p.m. Eastern, but be sure to join us an hour early as it'll be our first PLE with a pre-show. We're going to have matchups. We've got some special announcements concerning the future of FWE. So join us at 6 o'clock and then the PLE at 7.
Big drop to the outside there by Levi onto Carlos, but Nick has Joker cornered right now. Big clothesline there in the corner.
I was going to mention, too, with Harry Potter eliminated, when you end up having an odd number of individuals, that gives an opportunity for someone to kind of maybe lay low, stay out of harm's way, stay fresh. Now that it's 4 individuals and a straight one-on-one in 2 different occasions, there's no let-up, there's nowhere to hide.
Well, especially if we get down to 3 people left in this matchup and 2 of them are Joker and Nick, they've got allies, too.
They do.
So I wouldn't exactly say you can lay low, because you're going to have somebody who wants to try and interrupt their rest and maybe break up some moves that they're going for to try to stay out of the action.
Oh!
Oh, man.
Levi setting up a table, turns around, gets met with a table to the skull, courtesy of Nick Gunther. I'm going to be honest, he's still got the Shadow Lord garb and everything. I have a hard time in my brain of not calling him the Shadow Lord still.
I mean, I feel like you can, and it'll still be just as effective.
Oh, look at this. Could Carson maybe be thinking about putting Joker through that table? Joker with the go behind.
Don't think he quite had the accuracy. Probably Quinn gonna undo one of the turnbuckle pads as well.
Oh, and it actually did not work out in Joker's favor. Carson actually delivered his upper back into that steel ring, and then Nick with the go behind takes down Carson.
And Levi went for some kind of a neck breaker there on Joker. Didn't connect.
Nick just went back first into that exposed turnbuckle. I believe the turnbuckle that Hades exposed. So far it's been some friendly fire here with the involvement of both Hades and Harley Quinn. What is Joker thinking here? Gonna guillotine Carson up on the top rope. I thought he might be thinking about powerbombing Carson through that assembled table.
Certainly had a chance to. Did not take that opportunity. I think so far the thing that I have to describe this matchup is prepare for back pain. You're going to need a lot of ice packs after this matchup.
Absolutely, as now Levi McIntyre, the powerhouse, takes Joker down. Carson Gum, Nick Gunther locked up with each other here. That table still assembled in the middle of the ring ominously, and they're going to throw Carson into it. Might have more nefarious thoughts, and Carson's through the table and eliminated.
Sort of added frustration there for Carlos because he thought that Nick was going to be eliminated through one of his own moves, but the table didn't break. So Nick stayed alive, and Nick just eliminated him.
Yeah, it's really interesting to your point that Nick avoided disaster, and he has been the one that has eliminated the two individuals so far that are gone, Harry Potter, and now most recently, Carson Gum.
And now this brings up the scenario that I was just talking about. If you're Levi, you would think maybe he has an opportunity to try to let these two settle it out and get some rest, but he can't do that because if he does, Hades or Harley Quinn might have something to say about that.
Gotta wonder if you're Carlos Zimmerman backstage as you're watching this. You've seen the departure of, meeting of the lines there. You've seen the departure of Carson Gum and Harry Potter. 3 men remain. If there's any of these 3 that he particularly would want to face at Combat Evolved more than the other 2. Has no choice in the matter, though, as Joker taking it to Levi McIntyre and kind of using that strategy you were talking about for Levi. That's what Nick Gunther was doing. Spent a good portion of time on his own inside of the ring and now looking to capitalize with the F10 on the outside.
It's going to incapacitate Joker for quite some time. To my knowledge, I think you can put somebody through a table outside the ring and it would still count.
Yep. That's why I said our announce table it's within limits. And I didn't like how Levi was looking in this direction just a moment ago.
I don't like how they're fighting right in front of our announce table right now. Got a firm grip on this cruiserweight title, and it's going to stay that way.
Don't blame you. Of course, as we continue to build toward Combat Evolved, the card just continues to grow. We found out earlier on tonight, Black Widow will defend the Women's Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship against Harley Quinn. We know that Ed and Eddie of the family will defend the Men's Disney Tag Team Championships as Joker takes out both members of the Disciples of Darkness.
Well, that one worked out for him really well, but now you got Hades pissed off.
Oh, boy. Gonna mention, we know that Ed and Eddie will defend the Men's Disney Tag Team titles against the Thrill Seekers. We know that Jack, you're going to be defending that Wayfinder Cruiser Championship against Baymax. Matt McIntyre defends the United States Championship against Wonder Woman. Michael Norman, Shaggy Rogers, they will fight for the Vacant Tri-Wizard Championship. And in our main event here tonight, we're going to find out exactly who Shuri will be facing for the Women's Universal Championship as... Springboard Bulldog by Nick, and I think there was a distraction by Harley Quinn that played into that. Main event tonight going to be Poison Ivy getting her title rematch against the current champion, the former Power-up briefcase holder, Moana.
Nick's in trouble. That was his face getting dropped right into all that debris, all that broken wood, all that steel that's on the floor.
And did you see right there? Joker was looking to put Nick through the table. Levi ended up getting involved. I think that might have been payback for earlier on when Joker looked to put Nick through the table or when Levi looked to put Nick through the table and Joker got involved. So maybe a little payback right there by the Leviathan.
Nobody's really finding any kind of rest right now is... Oh, that was dangerously close to one of those tables, but it didn't end up connecting.
Look at the shards of table inside the ring here as well. I mean, you talk about Splinter City.
This is a junkyard out here in the middle of the ring.
Joker's head bounced off of the top of the ring apron there by Levi McIntyre. Nick Gunther now back inside of the ring.
Oh, I thought Nick was maybe thinking about some kind of a springboard attack to the outside. Instead, he's going to bide his time, take the patient route, and it pays off so far.
Oh! Modified double knee stunner. Nick Gunther standing tall, and again, go back to the beginning of this matchup. By all rights, Nick probably shouldn't be in this matchup at this point in time. He got put through the table, but the table did not break.
He just got put under one. Oh, reverse GTS by Joker to Levi on the outside. Joker the only one standing. Nick is down. Now he's going to work his way up to his feet.
Valuable recovery time there for Nick Gunther. Again, going to set up that table that when he was rolled into the ring, he kind of took the legs out from underneath. Two tables stand ominously inside the ring. As soon as I say that, the second one falls once again. Gunther with Joker in his sights.
Oh!
Massive forearm to the outside. Again, one of these three men are going to go to Combat Evolved to fight Carlos Zimmerman for the Intercontinental Championship. But the longer this matchup goes on, one would have to wonder what kind of condition are they going to be in when they get to the PLE.
I was going to say, you consider the timing, you also consider the stipulation of this matchup. I mean, they're definitely not going to be at 100% going into that matchup at Combat Evolved. It's not just the fact that you're fighting 2 weeks before the PLE, it's also the fact that it's a tables match. You have to put somebody through a table. 4 people have to be put through a table in order for the match to be decided, as there was a submission on the outside.
And I think Joker just tapped, too. That was a rear naked choke by Levi McIntyre, but we mentioned it. There's no pinfalls, no submissions, so Joker could tap all night long. It wouldn't matter. Oh!
Oh, look out!
And that is the third elimination for Nick Gunther. We're down to just Gunther and Joker as Levi McIntyre put through the table.
Levi took a swing just a moment before that elimination. He took a swing at Nick Gunther. It did not connect, and that reversal ended up being his undoing.
Saw Harley Quinn up on the ring apron there, trying to buy Joker some valuable time on the outside, distracting Nick.
Oh, man.
I mean, can
Back
you
of his
imagine
head.
if Gunther, who by all rights should have been the first one eliminated in this matchup, ends up winning this thing, running the table, pun intended, if you will, eliminating everybody.
He could very well do so. He's going to put Joker on the table here. This could be it.
Could this be the final toll? Joker through the table. Gunther is going to Combat Evolved.
Hades is certainly happy about it. I mean, Nick Gunther, like you were talking about, probably should have been the first man out. He got put through a table. The table didn't break. He stays alive and then eliminates everybody else.
Nick Gunther avoids disaster. And now he has a date with destiny. Carlos Zimmerman, take a good look. The former Shadow Lord is your future opponent for the Intercontinental Championship. And speaking of championship belts, up next, it's the final time that the Women's Universal Championship will be fought for prior to the PLE. Shuri waits in the wings to see if she will face the current champion Moana or the former champion Poison Ivy. It's the Women's Universal Championship, our main event, coming up next here on FWE.
Combat
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Women's Universal Championship.
Poison Ivy, a former two-time Women's Universal Champion, became the second woman to be cashed in on via the Women's Power-Up briefcase. Open fight night, she was defending the title against Cruella de Vil. Cruella would get disqualified via an illegal low blow. We would then hear Moana's music hit. She would rush to the ring, hand the briefcase over to the referee, cash in the contract, and walk out with the Universal Championship. Poison Ivy, one would certainly have to think, was fully prepared to head into Combat Evolved defending the Women's Universal Championship. If she's able to win tonight, those plans will not be derailed, but Moana will have the champion's advantage in this one-on-one matchup.
Something she's definitely going to have to work around too. And the thing that you have to think about with Poison Ivy is that she recently defended that title inside of a Gotham Rules matchup where there are no rules, there are no DQs or anything like that. This matchup, she's going to have to play by the rules.
But when Moana ended up cashing in the contract at Open Fight Night and walking out with the title, the percentage remains at 100% in terms of a success rate on both the men's and the women's side of cashing in the briefcase and getting the title that you cash in for. It's interesting when you consider not too long ago we ended up having a one-on-one matchup between Moana and Shuri, and I said maybe kind of tongue-in-cheek, not realizing that we may end up seeing these two further on down the line fighting for a championship belt. I didn't realize that possibility could be within the next 2 weeks.
As things stand, that would be the title fight right now, but that's assuming Moana retains the title. Like I was talking about earlier tonight, you know Moana's going to bring everything to this matchup. I mean, when you only get one opportunity to cash in with that briefcase, and when you do cash in, you can't waste that chance.
Head down to Mike Rome for announcements for tonight's main event.
Introducing the challenger from the Garden of Eden, Ivy! And her opponent from the Isle of Samoa, the Women's Universal Champion, the Sailor Montana!
You certainly have to think that Shuri's going to have a close watch on this matchup. That is the belt she will fight for at Combat Evolved. The question will be, which individual, Poison Ivy or Moana, will she be challenging when we get to that premium live event? And let's also bear this in mind as well, not to take anything away from Moana. She picked her spot. She had that right by having the briefcase, but she took advantage of a Poison Ivy who had just been through a matchup, just been hit with a low blow. This is a different Poison Ivy. This Poison Ivy is about as close to 100% as you can get. Not going to be able to use the same strategy in this matchup that you used earlier on at Open Fight Night.
She's off to a hot start. She hit some kind of a jawbreaker early on in this matchup, and now on the receiving end of that almost suplex kind of move there by Poison Ivy. But again, just thinking about Moana, you need to be coming into this matchup with as much urgency, I think, as ever. Again, you only get one opportunity to cash in as the submission's locked in here.
You know, Poison Ivy loves those submission maneuvers. Had a leg lock right there, trying to wrench on the ankle area, the knee area, which of course we know Moana loves the high flying offense. You take away those lower extremities, maybe those high offense moves aren't hit with quite the same power.
Just to finish my point, you get that opportunity to cash in. She was successful in doing so, but now you have the belt, you don't want to waste that opportunity, because now you lose the belt, you don't have that briefcase to immediately challenge for it again.
Poison Ivy ended up having something in common with the woman that we will be seeing fight for the United States Championship at Combat Evolved, that being Wonder Woman. Two women that have been cashed in on via the power-up briefcase. Remember back to when Wonder Woman ended up winning the belt from, I believe it was at Sugar Rush from Cruella de Vil, got cashed in on just moments after by Elizabeth Swann.
Talked about it when it happened too. Cruella seems to be involved in all these cash-ins as well, because she was in the match that Poison Ivy was in. She was the one who delivered that illegal low blow that got caught by a referee, and that's what led to the cash-in. Neck breaker there by Moana.
Just saying this right now, when we eventually get to our next power-up PLE, any future matches that Cruella's involved in, I'm going to be having one eye in the ring, one eye on the rampway.
Absolutely.
Moana with a moonsault there, and I think it took just about as much out of her as it did Poison Ivy, able to recover, back up to her feet, and continuing to lay in the offense. Let's also not forget, Poison Ivy, yes, she's coming off a devastating loss. They're getting cashed in on Open Fight Night. Moana's actually coming in on a bit of a losing streak as well. She and her Islander teammate Maui suffered a loss in mixed match tag action to Harley Quinn and Joker. Moana actually took the pin loss in that tag team match.
One interesting thing I've noted here is Moana got busted open by that drop into the top turnbuckle. You mentioned, you asked earlier if you would think maybe Harley Quinn would involve herself in this matchup as well. It'd be the third time we'd see her tonight, but she decided to stay backstage. And, you know, we had this sort of debate earlier, though. It's a singles title. It's the highest championship on the women's side, the biggest one on the roster. Show up by yourself. You can do it by yourself.
But we've
The whole
seen
point
in
of
the
a singles
past,
title.
well, we've seen numerous times in the past, Harley Quinn has had the back of Poison Ivy vice versa. We're going to go back to when Harley Quinn was fighting for the hardcore title. Poison Ivy was always usually out at ringside, and we've usually seen Harley Quinn make appearances with Poison Ivy when she was defending the title belt. So I will say I'm a little bit surprised, because what you're describing is if you are willing to play by the rules. We haven't exactly seen Havoc willing to play by the rules in the past year.
That is absolutely fair, and I mean, they have to play by the rules.
Went for Beyond the Reef, and I think that's the first time I've ever seen that get reversed.
Moana got completely caught by Poison Ivy there. Now going to wrench on the legs. Not quite a submission, but this is going to deal all kinds of damage.
That could have easily been this matchup over. Moana could have punched her ticket in defending the title at Combat Evolved, but Poison Ivy, credit to her, she did her homework, able to reverse that move. Missed the elbow, though. Moana now looking to turn the tides once again, and will with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker.
Pun intended there, turn the tides?
Yes, indeed. I don't know, I've been hitting a lot of puns tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Connected on that top rope. Hurricane Rana did Moana. Now, again, attack on the lower vertical base of Poison Ivy.
Wrenching on the legs. Standing moonsault there by Moana, just trying to keep the pressure on, and gets kicked off by Poison Ivy. Mentioned about the fact that Poison Ivy formerly held that Women's Universal Championship twice, the only woman to do so. Other women have held the belt, but have only held it once. If she's able to win here tonight, she would stand alone as a three-time winner of the belt, but she's in trouble here as Moana nearly picked up the victory. Poison Ivy able to just get that shoulder up before the referee's hand came down for three.
You can see the frustration. Moana was trying to make sure this was over with right then and there. The double axe handle connects, though, as Poison Ivy was trying to get back into the ring.
Wow! Look at the air time on that moonsault by Moana. And the champion is back in control, laying in right hands right to the forehead, the bridge of the nose. Hold on!
Here we go. You knew it was going to happen.
Third time that we've seen Harley Quinn out here at ringside, looking to help out her teammate here. Poison Ivy, who has the roll-up bridges into the cover. And Moana going to be able to kick out at 1.
It doesn't matter, though. Grabbing and wrenching on the arm. This could be a submission locked in. This cannot be how the title changes hands.
Armbar locked in. Moana able to shift her hips. Right hands looking to fight out of that submission move.
Now Moana able to land a shot, get the momentum back on her side.
Oh! It's the modified Falcon Arrow driver there by Moana. Now brings Poison Ivy over to the ropes.
Not sure he's going to go near the corner. Oh, look out here.
Oh! The Heart of Tafiti. We've not seen her use that move yet. Is this going to be enough? And Moana off the springboard stunner will retain the title.
Here is your winner, and still Women's Universal Champion, the Sailor Montana.
Well, busted open, interference by Harley Quinn, doesn't matter. Book it. Moana will defend the Universal Championship against Shuri in 2 weeks at Combat Evolved.
It's all about rest. It's all about preparation. She's got the title defense confirmed. She's going to be going to the biggest PLE that we've had since Paramount at Combat Evolved. She'll be putting that Women's Universal Championship on the line.
Well, we still have 2 more episodes before we get to the PLE. This coming Saturday, our final show of FWE Extra. Next week, our go-home show. On Thursday nights for FWE. Before we get to that PLE, what's going to happen between now and then? We thank you for joining us on this Thursday night. We'll see you Saturday for FWE Extra.